It's hot. All right. Y'all welcome to another edition of the Elite Mancast. Every Wednesday at 8:30, man. Y'all go there to YouTube, like, subscribe, and share over there. Tell a friend or tell a friend so we can all join into this good conversation we having, man. Mm-mm-mm. Me and Mr. Michael gonna hold it down tonight so that we can continue to bring this great information. We got our other guy. He's got to cater tonight. So hey, well it's not night. Well, it is 7:30 over there. So yeah, so we're gonna be catering. He's catering to the elites.
Mm-hmm. That's the other
Yeah,
elite.
tonight, man, we're gonna be talking about some mental health. It's Mental Health Awareness Month. If y'all didn't know, man, the month of May. So, but every month should be the mental health awareness month because we all have these issues that we create every month. We have things that happen every month. So, a lot of these months should be just everyday education on the things we need to learn. You know.
Right.
But yeah, Mr. Michael, what you feel about this topic? How you think about this topic? What you got?
Well, mental health awareness. We talked about health awareness so much over the last 3 years, and
Mm-hmm.
it's like I think we touched on nearly every topic because we've hit
Yeah.
depression, anxiety, PTSD, everything. We hit it
Mm-hmm.
from all different angles. But I wanted to go
Yeah.
at it from a completely different angle today, and I wanted to
Okay.
talk about adrenaline junkies. But before I talk
Ooh.
about adrenaline junkies, I was thinking about something that it was like, a lot of us we do things just on an everyday basis, just do things that are fun and out of the norm. And there's always been this saying that black people don't like the cold weather, black people don't swim, black people don't read, black people don't do this, they don't do that. And I thought about that and I was thinking, well look, you got all these different activities like I jump out of planes. I ski. I water ski. I go swimming in the ocean. I do all kind of things that my family and friends always telling me, "Boy, you crazy. I wouldn't do that." And I'm thinking, when you look at it from a mental health perspective, now they tell me that I'm crazy for doing these things, and I'm wondering, and I want the audience to actually chime in. Would that sort of be a mental health issue or a mental health situation for somebody who is scared to do something just because? I mean, they have no literal reason to be scared of it. It's like going to the beach, but they won't go past their ankles in the water. I'm like, why? I mean, we know there's stuff in the ocean, but it ain't that close to the shore. But yeah, this was just a question, something I was thinking about. So who's actually the one that's got a mental issue, the one that's out there living their life, doing all these different things, or the ones who are scared and sitting back, not doing it, and telling everybody else they crazy. So what you
Exactly.
think about that?
I think you're on the right path because if I jump out of a plane, I'm living. I'm not having
Hmm.
any fears. I'm not having any concerns about other people's opinions because I'm living. That's a healthy mind. When you have a healthy mind, you do things that make sense to you, regardless of what it does to other people. Everybody's not on the same
Absolutely.
journey. Everybody doesn't have the same vision. So you jumping out of a plane, me jumping out of a plane, that makes sense to us. But it wouldn't
Hmm.
make it would seem like a mental health issue to somebody who's scared to live.
Right.
You have a lot of people who are afraid to live because they grew up in church and the church say, "Oh, you don't do this and you don't do that." And God forbid. You hear these type of
Hmm.
things growing up. God forbid you do this. It's like that's coming from the man that you're listening to
Hmm.
every Sunday. He's programmed you for 20 years on what you should be thinking about. So therefore, yes, when you start being like, you know what? Let me back up. I ain't gonna jump out that plane. Forget living. You know. Oh,
Right.
you
Right.
might die. No, but if I do die, I lived.
Yes.
I
Exactly.
lived doing something that made sense to me. You know what I'm saying? So that's what we have
Yeah.
to remember about that type of that type of energy that you're speaking about.
Right. And you just hit on a perfect point. Because to segue right into the next thing, it's like all these people in the church, they preaching God this, they faithful, they're holier than thou. And the first thing they'll say is, God got me covered from the bottom of my feet to the crown of my head to the sole of my
Crown.
feet. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. So why are you scared to live your life? That's why I think they got a mental problem. 'Cause why are you scared to live your life if you truly believe that God's got you?
Right. It
See,
wouldn't be
to
a
me,
doubt in
that
your
makes
mind.
no sense. Right. You just go do it. I mean,
Yeah.
I used to do a lot of things that people, I mean, they tell me I'm crazy, but it's like I was telling a friend of mine once, I'm like, every risk I've ever taken was a calculated risk. There was always
Right.
some kind of safety involved. I didn't just go do it. Just like I wouldn't just go jump out of a plane without a parachute. And
Yeah.
then I got
Yeah.
a reserve in case that one don't open. So it's like
Exactly.
everything is a calculation. It's a calculation. You go jump in the
Yes,
ocean to
sir.
swim. There's a boat close by. I ain't out there, no
Right.
boat, no nothing for miles around. But it's like people let those fears just basically cause their life to be stale. They don't do anything that's
Exactly.
exciting. And that to me seems like more of a mental issue than a lot of stuff that people do.
It is, man. It really is. I know when I was
Yeah.
growing up, man, in the neighborhood, we didn't. If you jumped off the tower, the big diving board, you jump off the big diving board,
Mhm.
you was courageous. You did it. You know what I'm saying? And then you
Yep.
got some guys go up there and bounce on it and then do a flip backwards and they're doing the
Yep.
gainers and all of that. And you like, man, this dude tripping. But he's living his
Hmm.
life. He's enjoying all of the swimming pool. It's like you can't go
Yeah.
to the swimming pool and just say, "Hey, I'm gonna stick my feet in the water." You're not even
Right.
living. You're not even doing what you should do at the swimming
Yeah.
pool. Oh, but this is what I
Exactly.
want to do at the pool. It's like, nah, you got to get in the pool, man. You got to
You
go in
gotta
the
get in the
deep
water.
end, dive off the diving board, swim down, and swim back. You could have kept your feet in the water at the in the bathtub, or you could have got a
For
kiddie
real.
pool and sat in the chair in the front yard.
Exactly. Save yourself some money.
If you want your feet in some
Yeah.
water.
Yeah.
But yeah, a
It's
lot of
true. I've
people
been thinking
don't.
that.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
man. A lot of people don't want to live, man, but they say they living. You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. Always do it. That's the sad part. And then
Yeah,
when we
yeah.
go, like we start talking about adrenaline junkies, and really a
Uh-huh.
lot of it, it's like people like to do a lot of crazy things, but it's excitement.
But is
It
it
causes your
crazy?
heart to race. I don't think it's crazy, but a lot of people they think it's
Right.
crazy. But then if you
Yeah.
actually go out and try it, it's like when you mentioned the diving board. I remember the first time I went up on the high diving board. I got up there, looked off the edge, and I'm like, "Holy shit!" I don't know. I turned around to
Can't go
walk
back
off,
down.
and but look, I'm
Yeah.
looking down at everybody, and they look like little ants down there. And they talking about,
Yeah.
I knew you couldn't do it. I knew you wouldn't do it. I turned back around and just closed my eyes and walked and dropped.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm gonna do this, but after I hit the water, once I hit the water the first time it came up, I'm like, this wasn't nothing.
That's it.
Ran back up the
Going right
stairs.
back.
Then I died.
Yeah.
I'm like, shoot, it ain't nothing. But that's the whole thing. You just gotta face your fears. I mean,
Yeah.
it was scary. When I first looked down there, it's like I think I had a twinge of a fear of heights all of a sudden. Because I
Yeah.
looked down, I'm like, oh no, 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 no. And then when everybody started laughing, so I think my fear of people laughing at me for not doing it was greater than my fear of
Right.
just doing it. So I went ahead and
Yeah.
jumped. So,
And see, that's what we grew up in that era to where when you get to somebody start laughing at you, that either gives you the courage to do it or it cowards you out.
hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So the people who get cowered out, those are the people who had those parents or who grew up in a household or grew up around friends who didn't have that type of energy to where they say, "Hey, man, we're gonna do it anyway."
Right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you have to remember that, man. we grew up in an evil Knievel time. You know what I'm saying? We do
For
everything. We'll
real.
do anything.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't care. We built in the fire. We build in the fire pit and get a piece of the board off of the patio and make a ramp out of it and jump it.
Yep.
Yeah,
I remember we used to do that stuff. Those were the good
yeah,
old
man.
days, though.
We did that, man. Ride your skateboard down the hill real fast, and if you fall and skin your knee, so what?
Mm-hmm.
We didn't have no
Yep.
elbow pads and knee pads, man. We skinned our knee
Helmets,
and
none
kept
of
it
that.
pushing.
And go run in
Still
the
got
house crying
scars.
by get back out there. Shouldn't have been doing it no way. Don't
Yeah.
come running to me. Dude, those were the
But the
days, though,
thing is,
man. I
though,
love that.
yeah, it's so back in the day, you had the childhood abuse, trauma, and neglect, social isolation or loneliness, experience discrimination and stigma, including racism, social disadvantages, poverty, debt. These are the leading causes of mental health for adults. As a child, we don't really
Mm-hmm.
see that unless it's child abuse, and they consider child abuse getting a whooping nowadays. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
now,
And that
yeah,
wasn't child abuse, that was structure. You spare the
yeah.
rod and you spoil the child.
All the
That
child.
was structure. Yeah, that's what made us be the courageous people that we are now, to take those
Yeah,
chances, because we got those whoopings, we got that punishment, we got those hard conversations.
yeah.
You say
But
something
it taught
wrong to
us.
your child now, they're going to be
Yeah,
crying.
yeah.
Yeah, they don't even like
But
me.
back then, right, right. I heard that before. I'm like, wow. I just started laughing. I'm like, man, y'all should have been
Yeah,
born in our day. Cause back then, I mean, the
yeah.
stuff that we went through, riding in the car, speeding on the highway, no seatbelt, jumping around in the back seat, having a ball.
When mama hit
Then
the curb
you
too
can't.
hard, you fly to the window.
And she been looking over her foot. I told you to sit your butt down. Yep.
Told you to sit your butt down. Hey, and this was a seatbelt back then. This was a seatbelt. Yeah,
Yep.
her arm going across your chest.
Yeah. I remember that.
Hold on, baby. Hold on. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
our seatbelts back in the day. That arm going across your chest.
Yep.
So
But
those
look
are
how
some
we
things,
turned
man, that
out.
we really, yeah, it turned out great. But social isolation and loneliness, experiencing discrimination, those are some things that we didn't really, as some children may did, and some children, I don't feel like we've ever experienced discrimination because we lived in these all black communities. We didn't go
Right.
over across the tracks. We didn't hang out with the other side.
Right.
So we didn't really,
Exactly.
our parents, they experienced that because that's where they had to go
Yeah.
to work. They had to go out into the world. Now we're still trying to say we're living in a discriminative world when it's really not. It's all about how you perceive what somebody else is doing. And if you feel like
Right.
that's where I'm gonna say that that's where communication comes in to avoid that mental health, because that discrimination, it won't be discrimination if you have the right vocabulary to debate or
Right.
rebuttal when they try to come at you with that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And you got to have tough
Exactly.
skin as a man. You got to have tough skin when you're dealing with these type of people.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I think that's what's missing a lot. And a lot of this, the stuff the kids that grew up learning it from their parents. They watch the stuff that
Yeah.
their parents go through or listening to them having their conversations with other adults. And they start to
Right.
absorb this stuff even though they've never experienced it.
Right.
And that
Right.
already shapes their mindset. So now
Yeah.
it's like they've lived through the stuff that they never experienced it, but in their minds, they already know what it's like. They can't
Yeah.
hear somebody call them out of their name without getting angry. And like
Uh-huh.
I can understand it, cause I remember there was a time when you call me out my name, I'm gonna get angry, and we gonna have to do
Right.
something. But it wasn't no talking.
Yeah.
Now I can talk about it. When you call me out
Yeah.
of my name, you gotta explain to me how I'm that and you're not, because I know who I
But the
am, but
thing
who are you?
is, it depends on who's calling me out of my name. If it's
Exactly.
somebody I don't know, I don't even respond
Mm-hmm.
because you don't even know me. So why would I give my emotions? Why would I give that any of my emotions if I don't know you? See, that's a mental health thing that you feel like you, not you per se, but people feel like they have to respond
Right.
to somebody who's talking to them. Just because
Mm-hmm.
you're speaking in my direction and you're looking at me, you haven't called my name, first of all, so you don't know me like that. So I'm going to allow you to say what you have to say, and then that conversation is going to go away. And you're going to
Yeah.
go away with the conversation, whoever you are. You know what I'm saying? Because I've learned to control these emotions.
Mm-hmm.
Unless it's somebody that I truly love. And yeah, I foul off the handle sometimes, but it's like if I love you, I'm going to give you something that's going to give you some course correction. You should take
Mm-hmm.
that information that I give you and course correct. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because
It makes
we
sense.
don't even we don't even understand a lot of times that no response is the response, you know?
Right. No
Yeah.
answer is an answer. It's true. I watched a movie
Mhm.
once with Lawrence Fishburne. I think it was called Deep Cover or something like that, or
Oh,
Undercover,
beautiful.
something.
Oh man, that's
But
a
right
great
at the
movie. Yeah.
beginning, yeah, the white dude tell these cops like, "What would you say if I called you a nigga?" And one of them jumped over the desk and grabbed him. But he said the
Yeah.
Lawrence Fishburne, he came out completely different. It was like totally unfazed by it. And his
Right.
response, I forget exactly what he said, but just the way he came back at it, the dude was like, "Yo, I think you're exactly what we're looking for." And then
Exactly.
it went from there because he knew how to control his emotions enough to get
Yeah.
his point across rather than flying off the
Right.
handle. And that's
But you
a
can
lot,
make a
a lot.
man. I
Yeah,
think I think his response was something that he said a nigga would be the one who would respond to that question.
there you
That's
go.
what he said. That was what. Hey, that's my
Yeah,
movie right there. That's my
yep.
movie.
Brian took he hit that right on the head too, and that was just
Yeah,
it was great. See, that's the one thing that I think a lot of us are missing
yeah,
is just
yeah,
that
yeah. Emotional
I guess that
intelligence,
would be
man.
the emotional intelligence. Yeah.
Yeah, we have to learn that every time that somebody says something, take 10 seconds before you respond to it.
Hmm.
Take those 10 seconds. That way, you can make the people feel like that. I'm digesting what you're saying. I'm listening. I'm attentive listening. And then when I give you a response, or if I give you a response, it's going to be something of intelligence and power that you can feel
Yeah.
motive or inspired from, or you can feel that, oh, I took time to think about what you said.
Hmm.
That's where mental
Right.
intelligence and that's where mental health is a big issue with us because we grew up in a society where we feel like we have to attack the person who's attacking us. And it's really not an attack
Right.
on you.
Hmm.
It's an attack on your mind to see if you're playing chess or checkers.
Right.
And a lot of people swear they
This is
playing
true.
chess, whole time they playing checkers.
Right.
You
You're right.
know? So when we find ourselves in these situations, a lot of us we'll sit back and be like, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. And then somebody say, hey man, calm down. And then what that make them do? Elevate.
Fly even more off the handle. Yeah.
Mental health, man.
Don't tell me
That's
to
an
calm
issue.
down. Right.
That's what I'm there. That right there.
Yep.
That's an issue. Yeah, man.
Yeah. It really
A
is.
lot of them
And
don't
most
realize
people,
that.
exactly,
Yeah.
they don't think about it. It's like I ain't never wrong. I'm only right, and I only did it
That's it.
because you said something. But you ain't got to react to everything that's been said to you. But like I said,
No,
I was
man.
telling these guys at the gym, life is like 10% of what happens to you, and only and 90% of how you react to it.
That's for
If
real.
you got your mind together, you ain't gonna react out of character or out of pocket. You be able to go
You
on
ain't
through
gonna get
life
out
with
of
no
pocket.
problem. Yeah. But that's the problem with a lot of us have. We just somebody say something and then Everybody already think that we're angry black men as it is, or angry black
Right.
women. But
Right.
basically, whenever we fly off the handle, we just feed into the stereotype.
Yeah,
Like
but the thing
change it
is
up
though,
on them.
when you have your mental health in order, when you have a healthy mindset, you can find yourself not allowing things to get at you and get to you like that. But when you need to clear the clutter out of there, a
Mm,
lot of times we don't have
that's
time to
it.
sit down and clear the clutter out of our heads. A lot of us
Mm-hmm.
want to just remember. I was speaking about this the other day, Monday morning. I was saying that a lot of people want to remember instead of reflect.
Mm,
You know what I'm
right.
saying? When you remember something, you're living in the past. When you reflect
Mm-hmm.
on something, you're growing from it and you're elevating yourself to another level.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Because see,
Yeah.
reflection is correction. Remembering is remaining.
Right. It's like remembering
You
you're
know?
looking at it like a movie. You're looking at it from the outside. A reflection, you're looking at
Yeah.
it from the inside.
Ooh, just like that. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
just like that. That makes sense, man.
Yeah.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah, me too.
And then a lot of times you'll get people to say, "Oh, that's you can't. That don't. Just because you said that like that, that don't make it right." But
Hmm.
if Barack Obama said it just like that, you were swearing down. He was right.
Yeah, true.
You know, we try to dissect who the message is coming from. You don't own a
Right.
church, so you don't know this. It's like, bruh, this is public information. Everybody can know
Yeah.
this. This is for the public. But you don't do your homework or you don't do your homework. Now you feel like, oh, you can't know that. I don't see why not. I do my
Right.
homework. I
Exactly.
did my homework in
Intelligence is
school.
learned.
Yeah. And a
And
lot of time we sit around thinking somebody's not intelligent because they don't have $1 million.
right. Or they don't have the look. They ain't got the bling bling and the suit and tie and all of that. You're right.
That
But
right there.
I saw a reel a while back. I don't know. It might have been something that you sent to me where the guy was
Hmm.
talking about don't look at the message. Like the mother would tell the kid something like to stay out of
Yeah,
trouble and stuff. But then
you're right.
somebody else would tell them that was a friend of theirs, and they'd be like, "Oh, all right, now they pay attention." But like it ain't
Yeah,
about the messenger; it's about the message. Did you get
right.
the message? And that's what a lot of
Yeah.
people are feeling. They're looking at who's talking and ain't listening to what's being said. It's
And that's what
like
I
Bruce
never,
Lee in that book. Hmm?
yeah,
Remember
I
the
never
movie Enter the
understood
Dragon?
why we don't listen to our parents.
That's good. They say, "Oh, it's a new generation. We do things different. We know better." Kids always seem to know better than their parents. When I was a kid, I thought I
No,
knew more than my mom. But yeah, I know
right.
plenty
That's
of
what I'm
times. I told
saying.
my mom,
That's,
there was so
and
many
we
times,
always
especially when it
challenge,
came to girls.
yeah,
Yep.
we always challenge our parents on what they know and not even paying attention
Hmm.
that they've been through some stuff. It's like my daughter gonna come to me the other day. I was wishing her mom a happy birthday, and we was on FaceTime. Me and her uncle was on FaceTime, and
Hmm.
my daughter gonna say, "Oh yeah, Daddy think he know everything." I say, "Look, girl, I got a whole movie. My life is a movie." I say, "I've done
Hmm.
everything under the sun twice. You're still trying to figure it out, and when I try to give you the game, you thinking I don't know what I'm talking about." I say, "You got an
Hmm.
issue with you need to check this right here. Check that mental before you keep on going down the wrong road and keep making your life hard.
Right.
My life gonna be hard because it is hard." I say that's your mindset. Once you check that
Right.
mental health issue that you have, you'll feel better, baby.
Yeah.
Send you one of my videos so you can help yourself. And then they won't listen to that. But then if they friend right next to them say the same exact thing I said, you right,
Hmm.
you right, I'm gonna do that. And that's a mental health issue that we really need to start really focusing on in our community because it
Yeah,
happens all
for
the
real.
time. I gotta
Especially
start
among
looking up
our
and seeing
people.
what that's called. What is that called, man? Because I know it has a name for it. It has to have a name.
Oh, I gotta look that
Yeah,
up.
I'll look
It
it
might
up.
be good
I'll
for
look it up
next
and
week.
look at it.
'Cause- yeah, because it is that's something that it's like all of us. We all look at like if we say something to each other, it ain't right. But if a white man says it, oh, it's fact.
But see,
And we can say the exact same thing.
we didn't grow up hearing the word mentorship all the time. We only heard it on school on certain school days where like they having school fair or something like that. Or
Hmm.
whatever the book fair or something like that. You might hear mentorship. Or we started a mentorship program in
Right,
school, but we didn't never sign up for it. Some
right.
of us anyway. You might have had one or two that signed up for it. But we need a
Hmm.
mentor to get us through some of these troubling times besides our parents. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like
Right.
we need a mentor with our parents. We need a mentorship program that involves the child and the parent. I mean, yeah,
And
the
the
child and
parent.
the parent
Right.
together so that the mentor can explain to them, hey, y'all are working together. Y'all are a team. Y'all need to work together. Oh, but they don't want me to do what I want to do. And it's like your parents has been through everything that you've been through. You know what I'm saying? Or know somebody, or your father's been through what you've been through. It's like you have to realize that parents have not always been sit down, go to work, go home type of people. We was outside when it was
Hmm.
real live, you know. Yeah. I know in Dallas
Yeah.
and back in the 90s and the 80s, yeah, you might if a guy riding up on some nice rims, he might get jacked up out the car right at the red light,
Yep.
you know? Or you might have some guys doing a shootout driving down the street. And we look at that as a normal thing, but it's really messing up our mental.
Right. Right.
Living in these type of environments, like I was saying, PTSD is something that we all can get a check for.
Yeah.
If you heard
True.
gunshots for a complete summer, you don't mean to tell me you can go down to the county and say, hey man, I keep on hearing these shots, man. I keep having these bad dreams.
Hmm.
You don't think these people will give you a check? But see, we're so messed up in the head that we coincide getting a check is with being crazy. You stupid, man, you retarded. It's like, bro, I'm not retarded because I'm going to get something, I'm going to take care of my health. I'm going
Right.
to correct my issue. At least get me paid for the stuff I had to go through.
Hmm.
That's what
It's
soldiers do,
true.
right?
Yeah.
Ain't that what y'all do?
Yep. That's what, well, most of us,
Right.
a lot of them, they want them government jobs and like, oh, PTSD, you got that on your application? Well, you can't have this job. So it's sort of up
Man,
in the air. It's both ways. But I know exactly what you're talking about because, hey, you've been in the war zone. It just wasn't called
right.
the war zone. But basically, that's what it was. You going through the
I
same
had that
stuff.
conversation. Yeah, I had that conversation with one of my business partners. He was talking about how, oh man, people don't realize, man, I got 13 kills confirmed. You don't realize what I'm going through. It's like, bro, I was in a gang for 15 to 20 years pimping, and we done seen more people get killed than you was in that war. 13? That's all?
Mm.
Come on, man. Make it make sense. I say, bro, we
Yeah.
see people get killed in the neighborhood every day. Every
Yeah.
single day. In Dallas, Texas, growing up in Texas, man. We would see people die every other day. It was a funeral.
Mm.
And you mean to tell me that's not messing with my mindset? It didn't because now it's a normal thing. We don't think now it's like, we know somebody gonna get
Right.
killed today.
Yeah.
That's not a
Just
healthy
because it
mind.
became normal. Yeah. It became
Doesn't mean it's
normalized
right.
to you, but it ain't healthy. Right.
That's that for real.
Absolutely. And that's the thing. People
Yeah,
living in these toxic relationships or anything toxic. Once you start
man.
getting used to it to where it seems normal, that means you actually losing. You losing it up here because it ain't never
Right.
supposed to be normal.
Never.
That's
Never.
definitely it's never supposed
Yeah,
to be a
that's
normal thing.
right. Screaming and yelling is shouldn't be a part of any relationship if you're past 20s. If you
Yep.
pass your 20s, you should never have a yelling match. You know what I'm saying? Because we
Right.
supposed to grow up in an environment. We're gonna have to start teaching our children, hey, we don't scream and yell in this house.
Hmm.
Instead of being the main catalyst, the main anchor for the yelling. The parent gonna be the ah,
Hmm.
ah, ah, ah. So when the child does it, now it's like, who you think you're talking to?
Yeah.
Well, all I'm doing is
Exactly.
mimicking what I've learned. This is
Just what they
learned
say.
behavior. You
Yep.
got learned
Absolutely.
behavior of mental issues that we're not getting checked on
Yeah.
when
And
we
it's all
should.
just become so normal.
It comes
And that's the
trauma
thing.
bonding.
Yeah. It's become so normal that nobody thinks of it as an issue anymore. Nobody.
Correct.
Even if you go to a doc, you go to a psychiatrist, they don't even see it as a problem because they can't understand what you're going through unless they've been in that kind of environment. Once
That's
they've
why
been in
you
the
should.
environment, then they can understand what you're talking about. But otherwise, they trying to give you a prescription for some medication, but they ain't helping you with your problem.
Well, that's why you should try to get you a black therapist. If you're gonna go to the therapist, you should get you one
Hmm.
that's hey, you got to look up the credentials where you come. Are you an inner city child growing up? Did you
Hmm.
have these? You know what I'm saying? So that way, they've done the
Right.
work on
They can relate.
themselves, and then
Yeah.
they can relate and give you they can lead you in because they're not gonna give you an answer because that's not their job.
Right.
They can't give you the advice. They can help you
Direction.
lead yourself into a better direction,
Hmm.
you know, because if they give you advice, then that goes against the code of being a therapist.
Right.
But that's what, and it's sad that it's only like 25% of African Americans, we go seek that mental help. But
Right.
40% of the white Americans, they go seek help. So you
Hmm.
got more than half, well, you got a little bit less than half of
That's
them
the other
going
half.
to get their,
Hmm.
keeping their mind sane. While we keep on, oh, go to church, it'll be all right. Or go for a ride. Better yet, go smoke and go drink and
Hmm.
talk about it over and over and over and let it replay in your head a million times. So now it's ingrained in your head. Now you're living with that mental condition to where you're not releasing it.
Right.
A lot of things you have to just
Yeah.
release it and don't hear it no more. That's like I tell myself, like when if you're releasing somebody from your life, you're not losing somebody, you're releasing them so that they can go and ascend somewhere else in their life. That way you don't have to, man, I lost my girl, or man, I lost my boyfriend. You're not losing anything because you'll fuck around and find it
Right.
again in a worse condition
Yeah.
or either a better condition while you're still stuck on the
Right.
same page or the same plane. These people have either elevated or diminished
Hmm.
to another scumbag level. Now he's making it look real sweet for you. Now you done came right back to him. Now he's beating
Hmm.
on you. And you're trying to remember why you're trying to figure out why I can't get out of this cycle with this dude because both of you have not taken time to check your mindset on
Right.
what it is that you guys are doing. That's just like a job. You keep trying to argue with your boss. It's like if he's the one who hires and fires you, or if he isn't the one if he's the one who's over this department, why would you combat with this cat?
Hmm.
Just learn more than he knows and get. And when you see the next position
Get on
open,
out.
apply for it.
Hmm.
But we like to combat. Oh, it's like, no, calm down.
You know what
We
I
grew up
found
in
out
that
a couple of
environment,
days
though.
ago, bro?
What is
Speaking
that?
on that, when I left Jersey, the job that I had, I got into an
Yeah.
argument with the owner. This dude, he used to always tell us, like, if something happened to the truck, something break down, well, I had to spend this, and this to pay for that. I had to do this. So one day he came to me like that, and I'm like, yo, That's your fucking job. That ain't mine. Why you telling me what you
Right.
gotta pay? I do my
Right.
pre-trip. I do my post-trip. That's my job. How much it costs
Right.
you, I don't care. So we argued. 2 weeks later, I quit. I quit. But once I had that argument, I knew I had to go. I just
Right.
talked to a friend of mine that was working with the company when I left. He told me that like 2 months after I left, the company went under. They closed it down. I'm
Wow.
like,
And see, a lot of people don't realize the people in the background who's running the companies, man. Like some of these supervisors really feel like they don't need us, man. And it's like
yeah,
you got to realize, man, I'm the one who's running the whole thing.
right.
It's like
You paying me, but
that boy
I'm
used to say,
making you the
man,
money.
speak to me. Yeah, he say, speak to me nicely, brother polite. That's his name, brother polite. Brother polite used to always say
Mm-hmm.
that. Speak to me nicely.
That don't work.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
man. They really have the idea that you need them, but I've always been of the belief I can always get a job if I want one. If I don't like it here today, tomorrow I'll have a job somewhere else. Because a job is
Right,
easy to get. If you got the
right.
right kind of attitude, you can get a job. So if you can't treat me the way I want to be treated over here, you best believe it's only a couple of days and I'm going to be over there. And that's just the way
Yeah,
that works. This
yeah.
dude,
But see,
I,
we,
he did
we
that
have to
with quite a
start
few
having the
people.
mindset. Like I used to hear 19 Key say it a lot. He fired his job. We have to have that kind of
Hmm.
mindset that I can fire you. You can't fire me because I'm the asset around here. I'm the one who's
Hmm.
turning in the papers on time. I'm the one who's bringing value to this company. So if you fire me, it's
Exactly.
like you said, the company went under. So
Hmm.
we have to always go into each situation and each opportunity with the mind frame of I'm more valuable. So that way we have to clear the clutter from the past. Get rid of those
Yeah.
past traumas, get rid of those past addictions, get rid of those past bad habits. That way, when we come to a new opportunity, we're going to have a mindset. It's not going to be no trauma bonding. We're not going to meet coworkers and start talking about, man, when we was little boy, no, we're not talking about that.
Hmm.
We're speaking
Right.
about growth, health, healing. These are the things that we have to learn from right now today because we know about healing now. It's a big
Yeah.
thing in the community. Everybody's healing. Everybody's healing. But a lot of people don't realize what healing is. That's
Hmm.
unlearning all of those things that we were taught growing up that gave us these mental
Yeah.
conditions, that gave us the bipolarism, the schizophrenia, the things that the even sleep apnea, insomnia. That
Hmm.
that right there, that's a mental disorder, man.
Right.
That's mental health conditions, and it creates more things in your day to day. Now you don't know how to relate to people because you haven't had enough sleep.
Right. This is true.
You can't even communicate properly because you haven't put yourself in a position to learn. You don't want to even learn because now you're like, hey man, I don't even care no more. That's
Yeah.
a mental health condition, man. We have to really start paying attention to our mental health conditions and identifying them. That's what I was saying
Hmm.
on the live when I did it just a minute ago. We have to unlearn to reprogram our minds to a different phase, for the next phase in life. And each day
Right.
we wake up, it's a new page to the book that we're creating because our lives is a book. And you can
Hmm.
have a great ending or you can have a bullish or shitty ending. It's all up to you. But if you don't clear that clutter from the
Sure do.
things that you learned as you gotten older, as you grew up as a child, if you don't start addressing those issues, you're going to go into business with people with a bad attitude. You're going to go in, that
Hmm.
representative is going to be there first. You remember we talked
Yep.
about that one time on one of these
Yep.
topics. The representative.
Yep. The
That's the person
representative
who
before.
shows up smiling. The honeymoon phase. Yeah. Hey, y'all,
Yes.
everybody, how y'all doing? Soon as they get comfortable with you, boy, look at this.
Hmm. Now the
You
real
late
person
every
comes
day.
out.
Now they starting to gossip. Now they starting to pay attention to everything outside of themselves except for themselves.
Hmm.
Yeah, look at Michael. Michael ain't been to work in 3 days. What business is that is yours? Doesn't matter.
Exactly.
Yeah, I got PTO, bro. You can't ask me, and just instead of coming to me and be like, hey, bro, where you been? And really, it's
Hmm.
none of your business where I've been. You should even worry about another man's business. His whereabouts is nothing.
Right.
You should not worry about another man's
Exactly.
whereabouts. That is a mental condition. That is a mental illness. If you are more concerned about this man, then you are your own business. But they're out
That's
here.
true. It's
They're
true.
definitely out here.
Yeah.
But
That's the
yeah, man,
crazy
we're
thing.
gonna get it together. Huh?
I said that's the crazy thing. They really out there and they do just that. They're more concerned with what's going on with you than what they got going on. And all
Right,
of this
right.
stuff. And then really the biggest problem is when they talk about healing is just like you said. They don't really know how to heal. They think they
Ooh,
healing, but they don't know how.
ooh. I
Like I
like
learned
that.
a
For
lot
real.
more from doing the like since we've been doing the show. I learned
Yeah.
more about reflecting and everything and healing than I knew before. Because now every
Yeah.
time we come up with a topic and I go do the research, I'm learning. Now I'm making me go look over here for something else and different aspects.
Mm-hmm.
Because otherwise
And that's
you
what.
just recycling the same old information. And then you
Wow.
that don't mean you're not growing if you just recycling the same old thing.
And
You got to
then
find
and
something.
then people and then people will try to call it a generational curse. No, you
Yeah.
just recycling. That's not a curse. A curse is something
Yep.
that a witch doctor put on you, and now you can't get out of it. But if you keep
Hmm.
recycling the same conversation, that is the conversation you need to change.
Yeah. Exactly.
Telling yourself the
Yeah.
same thing. I know people,
Absolutely.
bro, they'll tell a story so much that now they believe it becomes true to whoever hears it.
Yeah.
That's
Absolutely.
crazy.
They
My
repeat it
mom,
so
she made
much.
me
It's
read
like,
for punishment. My mama made me go look up words in the dictionary. Hey man, go look this. You got these 20 words to go look up. Had to look up all of these words, and then you see one word now, you like, well, what that word mean? Oh, you
hmm
got now you looking up. Now you done went and looked up damn near half the dictionary because there's always another one.
right. Another
There's
word
always
popping up.
another word in there that you don't know. But I feel like that was therapeutic because she showed me, you know what I'm saying, this is what's gonna happen to you in life. I think she was giving me game from well, I don't think I know she was giving me the game on how life
Yeah.
really is. Because you're gonna come across one obstacle, that doesn't mean you let that one obstacle become you.
Right.
You
That's it.
overcome it by learning about it and learning how can I beat it? How can I take the advantages of it, put it into a narrative that I needed to be in, and then I can disperse it how I want it to go out without affecting anything mental about me. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
That's it.
I
Take
can't,
it and
I
make it
can't, yeah, I
yours.
can't allow an obstacle to dictate my life.
Right. And that's what a lot of us do. Because every
Yeah,
obstacle, there's
because
a
like
way
I said
around it
before,
and a way through it.
a lot of us are playing checkers, bro,
Yeah.
thinking we playing chess.
For real. They're like, king me, king me, king me. Nah, man. Checkmate.
Checkmate.
Mm. Wow.
King me. Nah, bro. Checkmate. Game over.
That's it.
But so I'm gonna give you some things on we wrote down about how to help a man struggling mentally. So
Hmm.
talk about the mental health, address it,
Yeah.
learn about it, and then we set a time aside to with no distractions to learn more about it. You know what I'm saying? So
Hmm.
we're gonna speak about it first. We're gonna learn about it. Then we're gonna set a time every day. Set a time every day that with no distractions, focus on what it is that you feel that is hindering your mindset, and we
Hmm.
grow from that. That goes back into remembering and reflecting. You know,
Yeah.
some people remember, and that's part of your past. When you remember things and you stay in that, oh man, you remember. Say, man, you remember. You going, you living there. You're that's where you live.
Hmm.
But if you're reflecting, you're growing from it. You're gonna say, hey man, you know what? This happened like this, and then that happened like that. So let me next time I can do this, this, and this to get out of that, so that
Hmm.
I can grow from the reflecting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was that.
Reflecting got a lot
And
of why
then let
questions.
uh,
I said when you reflect, you got a lot of why questions. You question it. Why did I do it?
right.
Why did I do it this way? How can I change it?
That,
All these different questions come about. Remembering, you
yeah.
just playing it over again.
Playing that same, just like that story stays there, and you don't want to
Hmm.
let it go because it gave you pain. But a lot of people don't want to live. I mean, don't want to grow from the pain. They want to live in the pain, become the victim. Oh, woe is me. This happened to me. No, it happened for you. It happened
You
for you
know,
to grow from. It happened for you to elevate from. So that's how
you
you
know
clear
what?
your mental.
You know
Huh?
what I think though. That one point right there, I think people let that one thing define who they are, and that's why they can't get away from it. It's like that
Yeah.
has become their identity.
Hmm. And when you're dealing with somebody who has, or that somebody that you're helping, if you're helping somebody get over these mental illness, these mental struggles, you allow them to share their information and let them tell you as much as that little or as little as they feel like telling.
Right.
Don't force them to give you more information than you need be. And don't be like, hey man, that's it. Man, you don't give people advice when people are coming to you just for
Right.
a word. You know,
Right.
let me vent to you. And so I had to learn that myself because I used to always try to give advice when people tell me, hey man, I need to tell you, you think I can, and then I was thinking that you're trying to talk to me about, asking me my opinion, but it's like, no,
Hmm.
I just need an ear. I don't need no
That's
words.
it.
And I had to learn that, and I'm still learning that because sometimes I be wanting to help people that I love, and it's like, nah,
Hmm.
I don't want no advice. I just want to talk,
Right.
and that's
Hmm.
part
That's
of,
it.
being a therapist. That's what a therapist
Yeah.
does. They sit back and they allow that person to get it all off their chest, and then
Hmm.
the therapist might say, well, how do you feel since you made that decision, or when you did that, how did that make you feel?
Hmm. Yeah.
You know, see, we done grew up on these terms of how you're doing. Doing is a verb. Doing is an action. You
Right.
can't ask somebody how they're doing. That means you're saying, how are you walking? How are you talking? You know what I'm saying? Ask people how are they feeling. Because feeling is an emotion. At that moment, I might not feel good.
Hmm.
But you can't keep saying, how y'all doing today? Doing is an action. Doing is doing stuff.
Right.
We have to learn these type of things, listen to what we're saying because we've been programmed so long to where we like, man, how y'all doing? Huh?
Yeah.
It doesn't even make sense if you sit back and reflect and be like, you know what?
If you think about
How
it,
you
right?
doing does not even make sense.
Right. It will be
How you're
what are you
feeling.
doing,
That's why
not
I tell
how
people,
are you
man,
doing.
how you feeling? Yeah, you got to give
Hmm.
people the power, man. You taking power away with these senseless conversations on the certain phrases that we say to each other.
Right.
We don't even pay attention to them because we've said it all our lives.
Exactly.
But how
That's
are you
true.
doing is not the correct way to greet someone.
Right.
But so don't try to diagnose or second guess their feelings. That's what we was talking about. Keep it open-ended questions when we're helping them with
Hmm.
this. Talk about self-care. Self-care, I want to talk about this right here because people think self-care is, oh, I love myself, I hug myself. But then you go right back outside, you're gonna eat that donut.
Hmm.
You're gonna drink that soda. That ain't self-care. When you care about yourself, You reading labels. I'm like this in the store. I'm like this in the store. Oh, okay, what this guy? How much sodium is in this? How much trans fat is in this? You know what I'm saying? I have to because I want to live.
You gotta know, right?
You got too much trans fat. You got too much sodium. You clogging up them arteries. Now you
Yeah,
got blood clots.
absolutely.
And you trying to figure out, man, how I get a blood clot? Because you done ate goddamn 4 packs of Roman noodle soups, man. They got 1,000 grams of sodium in them. Man.
Right? Wow.
We don't
That's true.
realize this because we haven't been spoken to about these things growing up. You know?
Right.
So number 7 is listen carefully to what they tell you. And you don't judge them by what they tell you. You know?
Right.
Don't look at them like when they say something, don't be like, man, he ain't made no
Like what?
man, you hear this
Oh
dude,
man.
yeah.
And you just lost a friend.
That'll cause him to go back into a shell and be like, I ain't telling nobody else nothing. I'm living with the trauma.
And next thing you know, you be reading about it. You done committed suicide. Wow.
Yeah. That's what it says right here. Mental breakdown in men usually happen when they become irritable, sudden anger, increased loss of control, aggression. Yeah, because now they feel like, man, I ain't finna hear none of that. I don't care. Now that's whatever.
Right.
And we don't realize that is not normal.
No.
Because what we
That's a
see
dangerous
growing
place
up,
to
we
be.
seen that. Yeah, we seen that growing up. We thinking that's the cool thing to do is to be tough and to be mad. Lil Plies, he got a song. He say, "Man, I don't want nothing to do with tough." Yeah, I don't want nothing to do with tough. All the tough dudes and all that tough talk. I don't want nothing. Y'all keep that over there, man.
Yeah.
I'm at an age in my life. I don't want to be tough. I know what it is to be a gangster. I know what it is to pull the pistol. I know what it is to look at the barrel of a pistol. I done heard the bullets fly by my ears. I done seen it. I done got stabbed. I don't want no parts of that life. That tough life. Man, you gotta look over your shoulder every 5 minutes, man. Out there being tough. Because you know what about tough is? Somebody gonna be tougher than you.
Yep. It's always somebody out there.
Always somebody wanna be tougher than you, man.
That's it. And one way or another, they're gonna have to prove it. In order to be the king, you gotta beat the king. So if you tough, somebody's gonna have to come to you to prove that they tougher.
Wow.
That's so making.
Wow.
It's a never-ending circle.
That cycle is crazy, ain't it, bro?
Yeah, it really is.
Ain't it?
But once you get a little older, you start to realize it ain't nothing about being tough. It's
No.
about being sensible, practical, using your head. That's the stuff that
Logical.
matters. Yeah,
Very logical. And that's the difference between men and women. You know, women, they live off of emotions and men live off of logic. As he
right.
should, a man should live off of logic, but a woman should be able to control her emotions into a point to where it's not disturbing his logic.
Right.
You know what I'm
But
saying?
I think if a man is logical and he knows how to express himself, even that he can change a woman's emotions. Because
Bang.
if you come at her with the right logic, she'll listen.
It'll make sense. Right.
Yeah, because
So
that's
that
when
means
things really start to make sense.
you would have to know how to handle your emotions. You would have to know what emotions that she's always, like you would have to study your woman.
Right.
So when you're not emotionally
Right.
intelligent, you're going to react instead of respond to her emotional charge.
And your
Yeah.
reaction is gonna come off wrong. because now you're not using
Yeah, and
logic.
I've
You
lived that
you're
life,
using your
man. I know.
emotions.
Yeah, I
I've been
know.
there too. I've been there
I'm
too.
telling you.
Took a
Yeah,
while, but
and it's
I'm
crazy.
starting to get it figured out because I know I still
Right.
got a
And
lot more to learn.
that's what I was
But
about to
hey,
say. It's a good thing you just said it. I was about to say, man, we do this homework on these topics, man, and it helps us learn how to be better as men, better as people,
yeah,
better as a human, you know, and
yeah,
start to ascend off into our alien stages, you know, to where we
yeah,
already I can see the future type of stuff.
yep. Got
No,
that
that's a
bright
good
light,
thing though.
Hussein. It
I
is.
like that, man. Yeah, that
It
helped,
is.
man. That helped right there. So, man, let me give you
Yeah.
real quick. I'm gonna give you top 10 mental issues that we have as a lot of us have as black men and black women. We have anxiety, bipolar, depression, disassociation, eating is a disorder,
Mm-hmm.
paranoia, PTSD, psychosis, OCD. Now I hear a lot of people with this OCD. Oh, it got to be like this. I'd be like, oh my
Mm-hmm.
God. Your house is dirty. And you're talking about how this tile's supposed to be. Go clean up. Schizophrenia. Schizophrenia and substance abuse. Substance abuse is number one in our community because we don't know
Yeah.
how to cope with anything. If we don't know how to cope with it, what we don't realize is that if you don't know what something is, go do the research on it instead of saying, man, give me one of them beers out that cooler.
Right.
Me and my girl just got into it. Say, man, pour me a drink. Let me hit that joint. That's
Yeah.
been our therapy forever since I can remember.
Yep.
And then after you do it as therapy, now it turns into a habit, and now you find yourself doing it on a regular basis.
Yeah. That's it.
Every month you'll find yourself spending $400 to $500 because every weekend you got to buy a case of beer or
Mm-hmm.
either a fifth of liquor. So now that's $200. That's $50 every week. You got 4 weeks in a three to 4 weeks in a year. I mean every month. So
Mm-hmm.
3 weeks, $50 every weekend, or either $100 every weekend. Now that's $300 on one substance. If you smoke weed, now you done bought you
Mm-hmm.
buying weed all. It's like we got to realize, man, we can save so much money if we're not on the substance
Right. And
to
they
try
getting on
to
it just to
cope.
run away from the problems. Yeah.
You think, yeah, you're
That's all they
thinking you're
do.
running, but you're really running towards it. You're staying in the
Yeah.
problem. You're not running towards it. You're staying in it. Because if you was running towards it, you might run through it. You might go ahead and break through it.
Yeah.
It goes
True.
back into the analogy with
True.
the buffalo and the cow. The cow runs from the
Mm-hmm.
storm. The buffalo runs to the storm.
That's true. Right.
So that way the storm is going this way, the buffalo is going this way. So how long you think the buffalo gonna
Mm-hmm.
stay in that storm? Right on
Not as
through it.
long as it counts. Yeah.
The cow running right with the storm.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's never ending. Oh, it won't stop. Yeah. Run to it.
Yeah. Turn
Run to the
around.
issue, man. Instead of trying to run from it.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it is what it is at this point.
Yeah. That is one of the biggest issues, though. Running from the
Yeah, that
problems
we have.
instead of facing the problems. It's just like all
We
those feelings.
always.
If you face it, you get through it.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, bro, it's been another good show, man. I got a lot more notes, but it's like say we
Mm-hmm.
can talk about mental health all night in different facets, different ways, because mental health is a real thing. And a lot of
It
people
is.
they don't look at it as mental health because, like I said, we
Right.
grew up in a society where if somebody says something wrong with your mind, oh, you crazy, you retarded, oh, you got a problem. No, I do have
Yeah.
a problem, and I'm trying to solve it. I want to get better
Yeah.
as a man. So instead of saying I want to get better as a man, a lot of them say I am the man, and I do it like I want to do it. It is my way. It's like, nah, bro. Stop thinking things are
Yeah,
your way. Stop thinking everything goes your way because you got a penis.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Just just ask the question. Well, how is that working for you? That's going to make the difference. Because if you the man, do the
That's
show.
working
If
for
you
you.
ain't, that's going to show.
Yeah,
Yeah,
nah, for real, bro. That's for real. Man, it's
this
been
was a
another
good
great
one,
show,
man.
man. I appreciate this conversation.
This was
We just had therapy
this was a
right
good
now.
one.
We just went.
Didn't we?
Yeah, we just had
Wow.
some therapy right now, man. Yeah, this was healthy. This was healthy for me. Just
Yeah,
like I say, man,
me
I've
too.
always I keep going over these notes. You know what I'm saying? And it's like when you reading them and you doing, you done did the research, but then when you go back and read it again, you see it from a different perspective because you've grown.
Yeah.
Just like,
Hey.
we talk about we be joking about with you and your wife, but it's like, man, you've grown
Yeah.
from these from these episodes we do. You've grown so much to where it's like, damn, Mike ain't even the same dude, man.
Yeah.
And
I don't
that's a
even feel like
blessing
the
to
same
me.
dude.
Right. That's a
It ain't.
blessing, bro.
I look at
When you get away
everything
from
different now.
Mhm.
Get away from the toxicity, things
Oh
change.
man,
And I
things get
do
better, bro.
reflect. I do reflect. Now I talk to women, I ask the right questions. It ain't like it used
Right.
to be. Just rushing
Yeah.
in head on because you look good.
Yeah.
No, 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 no. I ask the woman, yo,
Yeah.
what's the last book you read? Like, what?
Yeah. The
Book?
book. Yeah. I don't
Yeah.
read books. Nobody read books no more, brother. Don't worry.
No, hey, that's almost like a
I
red
just picked
flag
up.
nowadays. If you ain't reading something or listening to something positive.
Yeah. Yeah. I just gotta reference these two books. I'm gonna start. I'm well, not two books, but it's one book I'm definitely gonna listen to and take notes from. But my partner, he put me on to a book, man. He said it's real good, so I'm gonna check it out. But man, it's
What's
been
the
another
name of
great
it?
show, y'all. Shit,
Wait. What's the name of the book?
I got it written down on paper. I don't remember. He told
Well,
me I
text
got
it
it
to me
written.
when you said, all right.
Okay, I think it's called Project 1619. It's something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta remember. I be writing stuff in the middle of a tablet and then I try to figure it out. But I know where
Yeah,
it's at.
forget
It's in
where it
my
was.
notes where I was taking these stock things down. But I
Got you.
look into it. Yeah, but I think it's called Project 1619 or 1916, something like that. But it's giving you a history lesson or something about that. But I'm a double check, and then we
All
can get it
right.
right. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, bro,
That'll
what you
work.
got for me on the way out of this thing, man?
Yo, on this mental health thing, I was
Yeah,
talking to a lady a couple of days ago, and I told her straight up, I am crazy. And she just looked at me. She just said, "Well, somebody tells you who they are, believe them." And it's true. I'm crazy because I don't walk the same road that everybody else walks. I
that's right.
insist on walking a different path, and a lot of people look at that as being crazy. I read because I feel like I need the knowledge. I listen to people, and I'm learning from everybody, even the kids that I'm training. I learn stuff from them every
Mhm.
day, and that's the way you got to go through life. People tell you crazy, agree with them. Just don't be like them.
Yeah, right.
That's it.
Yeah, yeah. Live in your own shadows, man. But yeah, I'm
Yeah.
gonna say this right here, man. Eliminate your needs and your wants, and just become that blank canvas as you go along through life. Because you got to remember,
Mm.
each day is a different page in your book. So each morning when you wake, each rising when you open your eyes, you have to remember, or you have to reflect and say, "Hey, this is what's going to happen to me. This was going to happen for me today. This
Yeah.
is what's going to happen for
That'll
me
work.
today." and you repeat that every time you awaken, and you're going to see your life change because it's going to get into a better state. We grew up, everything was negative, everything was toxic. Not everything, because we had a lot of great times when we were growing up, but always get rid of those needs and wants each day. And that's what I can say. If you got mental health issues, man, consult a therapist, talk to somebody who can help you. And man, I pray that everybody clear the clutter and become better as people. But we appreciate y'all for tuning in, man. To the next round. Peace.
Peace.